And today we are going to discuss the topic that is from differences to success, unlocking the power of diversity in data science teams. So this is kind of the topic that I feel that this is more important. And in the companies, what we hear about that companies are hiring different people with a different background, but we don't know what is exactly and how to tackle that one and how come a company is getting a benefit from that one. So my name is Saloshna Aud. I did PhD and I will be sharing a brief introduction. And for agenda of the presentation would be, we will be starting with a brief introduction of mine. Then I'll be going through what is actually diversity and inclusion. And then I will be discussing what are the challenges when we have diverse workforce, when we have people with multiple beliefs, we have people with multiple cultures, we have people with different personalities, then what are the main components we need to consider. Then I'll be discussing research facts supporting the diversity. That is my dissertation or my research that I did for this topic. I'll be sharing those results as well. And then strategies for approaching culture differences as well. So it's just like, what are the main things when we have such kind of a diverse force, then what are the things we need to consider to tackle and have the optimal solution for that one. And then we are going to discuss how we can lead a diverse team. Are we prepared to lead such kind of a diverse team? And in the end, we will be discussing about embracing the diversity and inclusion journally. So starting with my brief introduction, I'm Saloshna Aud. I did PhD, and my motivation for till this stage is that there is no secret of success. It's a result of preparation and hard work and learning from your failures. Sometimes it's kind of a challenging, your culture, your environment, and your barriers, but it's kind of how you need to understand what is right and wrong and learning from there, and then you get the final output that you want to be. So this is kind of motivation behind my efforts that I started from the overall journey till now. Learning path of me is if I start my education, that is, I did PhD in business management, and that was from University of International Business and Economics, that was in Beijing. And I was over there, it was a 4-year program, and my dissertation was as well on the diverse workforce and individual creativity. And then I have 2 masters. First one is the Masters in Population Sciences. That was a scholarship from Karachi University. That was from Pakistan. And the second master's was from Qaid-e-Azam University. And I did BCom from Islamabad. That is a capital city of Pakistan. So if you see my education, that is not from one region, it is started from Pakistan. I went to China for having my PhD. And at present, I'm working as a machine learning engineer as in US Express, that is a logistic company. And along with that, I'm performing duties as a head of the volunteer management in athletics. So that is kind of managing how the volunteers are performing, how many hours they are working. So this is kind of my role over there. Along with that, I have experience of working as a social scientist in Region Training Institute, Karachi. So this is all about my previous background, that what I did, from where I started and what I am doing at present. About me, this is kind of a brief nutshell that I would say that I'm originally from Pakistan. That is the state is Sindh, and I would be calling myself I'm a Sindhi because I am from that culture, from that region. But in that state, what happens is like if we are having a regional language, then we have kind of national language. So I know Sindhi, I know my home language, that is Urdu. Along with that, I have kind of national language, that is Urdu, as well as English. In the middle, you can see that is my last picture of my academia. That is my last degree, that in PhD So this is kind of a last memory of my schooling. In the right, you can see that is my beloved parents. And in the left, you can see that is my youngest brother, that is CP child. He is a disabled person. So if you see that in my life, or just like in our family, we have kind of a diversity as well. So just I'm describing that what are the things that we have, and we need to notice what we are going to do. And in the right, you can see the last picture, that is what I like, that is my traveling. I love traveling. So during my studies, I have traveling South Asian countries because I love to meet different people. I like to interact with multiple people. Even I don't know the language, even I don't know the people, even I have differences in my language or my nationality, but I prefer to talk to everybody. So this is nutshell about me. And in my technical and soft skill, I would say I am from the research background because I did PhD. And main thing is that we do research and we write papers. But along with that, when I shifted to IT, that is an industry, then what I did, I learned that is a machine learning. Statistics is the component in the research, but programming language and visualization tool. But along with that, what I care about, that just like I have even those skills, but if I don't have the soft skill, that is kind of a weak point in me, because even I know that I have these kind of skills and I cannot communicate properly, then there's no use of having those kind of skills. So I am good in time management if just like getting any task. So I would be saying just like I'll try to complete within time and before time. I'm good in team playing because just like our coordination is the key point, and we are in the team. Sometimes we have multiple members. Those are kind of from different backgrounds, but I try to take initiate without thinking that might be I'm getting a negative or positive feedback, but I start talking. So this is all about just like I wanted to share that in my personality, what I like and what I don't like. So here, about after a brief introduction, we are going to start our main topic, that what is diversity and how it is going to impact on the success in the data science teams. So starting with the diversity and inclusion, so I'll be starting with why companies, organizations are struggling with the having more diverse workforce. If we see that market, if just like company is exists into the market, so market has different challenges, might be competition, might be more benefits, or kind of, but internally, if we see in this organization, this company, there is kind of multiple people working into the leadership. They have multiple characteristics, their personality is different. And below that, if we see there are multiple teams working into that. So now that team is comprised, might be a data science team, could be a marketing team, but every team has different aspects, different dimensions. From those things, the company gets creativity and innovation, increase productivity, reduce turnover, and profit increase. Now, when we see that what kind of, and we listen, what are kind of the things that companies are getting from having the diverse workforce, but what actually the diverse workforce is. And this is kind of a brief statistics that in 2020, this statistics was provided by Forbes in 2020. And who is that? Those are the top 10 employer based on the diversity. The index was 100. So what was the criteria Forbes to identify those kind of, that when these are the top employer, that means they are going to have those kind of benefits as well. So the questions were, how many people are working from different races, might be the gender, might be the ethics. So different questions, general questions were asked, and they were rated based on those kind of components. So now question comes again back to what is diversity. So Here is the definition of the diversity, that is that when individual differences of any characteristics that lead to categorization process. So, for example, I am in the team and I'm newly appointed into the team, and I am sitting alone and I don't feel open to talk with somebody. Or might be I'm going to talk with somebody that is just like my age, might be same kind of a gender, or so those are the things when we think. So it is going to categorize ourselves into not to open to the other person. That is kind of because it depends on the culture, it might be experiences, all these. So the best example could be when we were just like at a childhood stage and when we were playing with the kids. If we start over there, then we were flexible to talk with everybody. We were not categorizing ourselves. So diversity is kind of that when we are sitting in the team, we are going to categorize, we are going to separate ourselves from other person. The reason could be those are the different dimensions. The person who is in the team, that person is bringing multiple dimension to the personality. It is internal factor, it could be external factor, it could be an organizational factor. So personality is comprised of my belief, my thoughts, my likes, my disliking. But what is the bad to those one? That is internal. That is age, might be race, might be my national origin. So now we don't have control over there on those kind of dimension. That is internal. We are bringing on the table that we cannot change at all. But what happens, there is an external factor when a person is going to be in the team with the passage of time, they are going to change it. It's kind of income level. If I do more certification, if I more interact with the people, if I get a kind of rewards, then I'm going to change my income level. Might be with the education, I'm going to change my job. So these are kind of, or might be marital status, just like those are kind of, because it is, we have control and it takes time. The fourth one is just like organizational characteristic, where we mold our personalities according to the settings we are sitting. So if we are sitting into the team, it's a marketing team, our personality, our dressing would be according to that one. Our hierarchy of the job, it will portray according to that one. So these are the different dimensions that impacts on personality. Now, question comes that when a person is coming with these kind of characteristics, or they are going to reshape those characteristics, if these are not managed properly, then it could be positive or negative impact on the team performance. So this is one point, that the personality is there, but how to tackle those personality within the team. Now, there is another concept that we saw different dimensions were there, but there could be overlap of their personality as well. As we described that if a person is over there and it is not managed properly, or two dimensional interacting, if I take example, sexuality and disability, if I say disabled Asian or American, or I say Asian lady or kind of white person, so white American. So these are kind of overlap of the dimensions. So it could be more problem because that person is going to be biased based on two characteristics. So this is another, but we are not going into that one. But this is generally just like concept, that is intersectionality is also related to the problems. So one of the problem in the company, if in the team, that if it's not managed properly, it is going to be negatively impacting on the team. So now here question comes that whenever we are in the team, so what we need to consider, what are the factors we are going to accept or reject a person to talk? Might be we make judgments, might be we give a negative decisions based on those kind of thoughts. Avoid contact with those persons. So, for example, I'm sitting and I have I experience in my culture. If I would say, I remember, I'm not just like taking into the team, but if I'm saying that if I'm doing any project, so once I was doing project and we were sitting together and eating a food, and one of the culture, they didn't eat that thing. So here comes a question that in the team, if you are a member, you have a same target, and something is going to create a clash, then how we are going to tackle that one? Either that is a perception, either we have experience, or we have to explore more. So these are the things that we need to explore when we are in the team, rather just bringing whatever we have, but in the team we need to explore and identify and start from the beginning. It's kind of diversity inside out. So I have few thoughts and I cannot control. I cannot change, and I am bringing into the team, and based on that one, I'm going to make the decision. Those are the three things. Those are going to impact the whole team. So when we say the diverse workforce, we discuss about the diversity. So that is kind of mix of people, different mix of personality. So social learning theory supports to that one. It says that individuals learn from the consequences of the actions, behave accordingly based on the how people are treating, and categorize themselves and learn from each other when they feel there is a value in that point. So what we said, that if we remember, or just like we just recall the point when we said just like dimensions, if these are not properly managed, there would be negative impact. But if it is properly managed, that it could result into a value in diversity. So going back to the inclusion, now the diversity, if we say that is a mix of people working together. Now inclusion is the extent to which people or employees, they feel sense of belongingness. I am sitting in the team. I have been hired based on the diverse workforce, but I cannot speak in the team. Why? Because might be I'm thinking if I speak up, might be I'm getting criticism. Might be something is going to damage my peace. So I'm not going to participate until the other person is going to start with. Or if I'm going to share something, first I have to think 10 times. Similarly, I can participate or I can create just like participation. The sense of belongingness starts with others are showing me the empathy. Okay, Salochna, you are good. You can go ahead. You can proceed. Whatever you're saying, that is, we are with you. Or kind of when you are new in the team, or might be there are multiple layoffs in the team, or just like organization or different teams you are getting into. Empathy is kind of putting yourself into other situation that you are coming from that background that's totally different. It's kind of you are looking back. I am looking at the right of the hand. So this is kind of the perspective could be totally different, but here, how we can show the empathy to the team member. That person is inclined to the team and gets the feeling of belongingness. Third one is the acceptance. That is acceptance of that whatever I had in my background. I thought might be sister told me that, okay, these kind of personality, these are the barriers in the cultures, might be this is not good to do that one. I have to leave those back. I have to see what's in my team. I have to interact and start with the new beginning. It's kind of, I'm going to, with a totally blank mind, I have to interact with the people. What is our target? Why we are interacting? So if I accept those things, rather just keeping my everything into the team, it won't be helping. So this is another thing that when we are going to work in a team, we say inclusion, but this is kind of a component as well that is kind of a mutual impacting on the team. Then these are the connections in the team. If I have very strong connections in the team, then we can interact, we can ask, we can help each other. So it's kind of creating a very good bond in the team. And when you are having a kind of a satisfactory environment within a team, then you are feeling that this is my team, this is my ideal place, I can work with this team. So there's no use to just finding the person, those are in my same beliefs, my same characteristics or kind of things. The fifth one is embracing that whenever we are working within a team, it should be given respect. It should be given a value to the target, to the team, whatever the inputs are coming, it should be part of that one. So briefly, I would say that these are the 5 points that even we are going to hire diverse workforce, but comes that how they are going to have a sense of belongingness, that is kind of when we have these kind of, or we can say the components into the team that can help us to create that inclusive environment, that is inclined environment in the team. Now comes that in a single word, I would say, what is diversity and inclusion? So it's what we have and what to do with that one, that is inclusion. So it's kind of we have a recipe and I need ingredients, but if I am adding something different to the recipe, what would be the solution? So it's the same that we have a mix of people, but we are not managing it properly, we are not dealing properly, then it could be impacting on the team, it would be negative. So now going back to what are the challenges of the diverse team? Now we have a diverse team. You can see these are the different people. Might be they're from different countries, might be these are from same country, but still they are bringing their different minds. They have different duties, they have different family pressures or kind of. So we have such kind of nationalities, might be people with the different races. So now we have these kind of people, and in the team, how I can manage it properly. So starting with when they come and how the process is going to start. So this is kind of a brief, just like if we start with a diverse team. So people, individual, if I say that when they start into the team, they categorize themselves. So now what happens might be they are going to categorize based on the social categorization, or it could be on the functional or informational categorization. So social categorization is totally easy, that I see it's a visible, I'll talk a little bit and I see, okay, this person is similar to me and I'm going to categorize, I'm going to interact with this person more because this person seems like it's the same in my personality or my thoughts and kind of beliefs and norms, whatever. But as compared to that one, when we have informational categorization, then what happens? People want to learn more. They want to interact more. They want to ask more because they think that if I have some point to discuss, then I'm going to explore something new and it will give me an information. So that is called the value in diversity. So for example, I am a person that I think, okay, I don't know about any kind of programming language, or it is kind of, I'm totally new and they have been assigned a task. So now, instead of researching, might be a person could ask to the team member, what could be another option for that one? So on one side, you can explore, on other side, you can ask. It is kind of, because in this way, you are going to have one aspect, the other person is going to give you another thought. So it's kind of a mix of thoughts. But sometimes it could be a challenge as well, because if you're asking, you're giving some solution, might be the other team member has another option, and it is going to create a conflict. But with this conflict, with this communication barrier, might be it could be argument. So it can result into a problem because this is kind of initial stage to solve the issue, and we don't have understanding of each other, respecting each other, to know each other. Right now, we are at the time, just like we are in the team, and I have to prove myself. But what comes, how to tackle this kind of a situation that we are in the team, we have a conflict, we have such kind of communication barrier, we cannot adjust into the environment. Then there is another thing, just like we have to think about how we can tackle these kind of situations. So first is, I have skills. I can just go for problem solving skills. Might be I can say just like subject matter expertise. So whatever I know, I can apply those kind of techniques and I solve the problem. It could be a solution for old question or old target and get a new solution. Might be a new problem, new solution. But there could be another approach. Even I'm not good in that one, but with the interaction, the other member is good in that one, and he or she has done before with the communication. But the key component is the respecting each other's beliefs, culture, whatever the dimensions are. Interacting with them and showing the empathy that I value, I feel just like you are, and showing yourself at the same level and asking, interacting, and having more events or kind of integration of diversity, we can result into the quality of solution. It's not just like because when we are in the team, it's not a single task. In the team, it's a team output. Nobody is working independently, and there is no me because we work as a team. So even there is a gap, even there is a communication barrier, but we need to solve at that stage so that it is not going on forward and impacting on the output. So these are the things that even we have technical skills, but when we come to even I don't know, then I have to interact with other person and get the idea how it could be solved. So it is kind of a different solution or better solution. I would give an example that I was working within a team. So my team was changed. So what happened is like I was given a task, even I knew, but the other person, and she said, Solushna, I totally don't know about your project, but I can just tell you something. Might be this could be a solution. Now I am a programmer and she was giving me a data. But when she talked, and it gave me a way to go into that direction. So this is how, because when you interact, so not important that you are going to have the same problem. But for your problem, you can discuss and you explore, okay, yeah, this point is the thing that I have to do. Might be this is going to work. So this is called that how we need, even we have technical skills, but sometimes our mind gets occupied. And sometimes you never notice, okay, what should I do? Then you have to just like, okay, let me close my eyes and do what should I do extra. And it impacts on the quality of the solutions. So going through the diversity and inclusion, I'm going to share a few results of my research that I did in my PhD. And my topic was when the diverse workforce is working, how it is going to impact on individual creativity. So what I did, so this was my research model. And the model was, I took age diversity and gender diversity in the group and wanted to see the impact on individual creativity. So main concept was that I want to see that if a member is working in a group, so there are 5 or 6 or 8 members in the group, does every member is having individual creativity or not? So this research was, the data was collected from China, and it was from Pakistan. The industry I took that was telecom and banking sector. So when I got the result after running the model, it was kind of the gender diversity was positively impacting on individual creativity. When different kind of sexes are working together, it is going to impact on individual creativity, but on the condition when there is more complex task, challenging task, then they're going to communicate with each other. And it is going to have a positive output, might be into individual creativity as well as into the group as well. So this was one thing that I wanted to share, that this is kind of when we say the diversity, how it is going to, because team is not individual characteristic. Team is a collective. So we need to see collective, and in collectively, how I'm going to be getting growth into that one. And it is going to, in case I'm going to another team, because I know about this skill. And might be in future, I'm going to tackle that one. So it is going to impact on my growth, on my personality, on my creativity. So similarly, the second paper was, I took age diversity and education diversity. But the moderator was group size. So in this, what was the problem statement that I wanted to see? When the groups are working and these two types of diversities are there, either it is going to impact on individual creativity or no. So the result was positive, that was on education diversity was more and group size was bigger. It is going to impact on individual creativity because they are going to communicate more. So the communication, the mediator, that is more important, because when we are not communicating, then we are just in ourselves. We are not open to others. We are not going to get, yes, we have Google all the time. We have research papers all the time. But how about my personality management or my own thoughts? These I cannot change. That could be changed when I sit with other persons. The third paper I would be saying that is about the emotional intelligence. So here it says about the leader's emotional intelligence. So when the leader is emotionally intelligent, it is going to impact on subordinates as well. Before we were saying, okay, team is there, but how about the management that is working on the top? If they are not emotionally intelligent, because if we say the emotionally intelligent could be a group member as well, the team member as well. But here, this paper is saying that even the manager is emotionally intelligent, it is going to impact on subordinate and it is going to impact on organizational creativity. That is based on the different teams. So what is emotional intelligence? This is kind of ability to understand ourselves and others' feelings. That is comprised of, that is social skills, how I'm going to interact with others based on when I have self-regulation of my feelings by knowing my own feeling, that is called self-awareness. Along with that, when I have empathy for others. Here comes a question that if I have a team and I have a diverse team and manager says, and a diverse team member, he says or she says that I have this kind of a question. And the manager says, this is the first time I'm getting this question. Now you have to manage this team, but a person is having a question, then he has something in the back, how he can concentrate on the task. So That comes that emotional intelligence that has 5 components. That is more important when we are working under the manager that has different background, but he doesn't know self-awareness or the others' perspectives, then how it is going to work on the teams and its performance. So in the nutshell, if we say whatever we discussed, that we say that when we have diverse workforce, we have inclined environment, and when people are going to interact more, then it is going to result into the diversity value. How? Because when people are going to interact, they would have more confidence. They are going to have more decision power because they have confidence into the team. They have more commitment to the team. They are not going to leave the organization or the team because they know this is my ideal team. I'm going to work over here. Similarly, we have more cohesion within the group member because we have developed the environment, we have more understanding, we know each other, and that's why we have more committed. Even I have some problem, I can share with somebody, and they are going to might be tackled at the time. So this is kind of the team is called. Then the relational conflicts that we might have in the start, but with the passage of time, that is going to decrease because we started to communicate, build a trust within each other. Our well-being is good. We increase the productivity as a team because we are going to have trust in each other. So now, question comes, are you prepared to lead a diverse team? Now, I am, for example, I am a manager, I am going to tackle, I'm going to deal such kind of a team. Now comes that, do I know myself? Taking those 5 components, that is social skills. Okay, I'm good in social skills. I can interact with each other because I've been into schools and all that. But how about, do I regulate my emotions in case I have some kind of might be anger, might be anxiety? Can I regulate those kind of feelings? Or might be I have awareness of my thoughts or my feelings. When I'm talking to somebody, showing the empathy, I am good enough to interact with those kind of individuals. The second thing comes that unconscious bias comes in front of us. It could be because when I was at the level, when I was growing, somebody rejected me or some recruiter rejected me when I was telling that I get scared of people. I might be, I cannot talk in front of so many people, or might be I am not good at visualization or something, whatever. So bringing my experiences to the team, I might deal that kind of person to that person, individual that is in the team. So being a manager, being a decision maker, kind of manager is not that we have to just give a direction. Manager needs to know how I would be remembered, how I'm going to impact on the team. So if I have to know that how I would be remembered, how team is going to get growth due to me or my direction or their outputs, I need to know what are the paths I have to follow on, how I have to interact, how I have to lead the team. Then comes proactive listening and responsiveness. Proactive listening is what? That there is difference in hearing and listening. I'm in the team, I'm listening from here and there and all that. But listening is kind of, if somebody is quiet in the team, I need to concentrate on that individual as well. Give a chance to speak. If that person in the beginning is not good at talking, might be he or she has something in his mind or her mind, then I have to give it time. Might be a counseling is needed, might be one-on-one session is needed, but this is not enough as well. Even I have listened that point, but am I capable to respond to that question? If I'm not responding properly, then this is going to give a problem, and that person is not going to be inclined into the team. And the third point is ensure equality, equity, and retention and promotion. So we have to keep everybody equal, and not equal only, but we have to see what person needs what, because every person has different need. It could be based on their might be personality, might be their physical abilities, might be the disabled persons are there, or might be on capabilities, how we are going to give them kind of promotion and retention benefits to those kind of individuals. So this is kind of keeping into a manager. The main thing is that we have to remember that how I would be remembered or impacted by the team. So if we know that one, then we are going to have a path how to follow, how to interact, how to respect each other, how to share my thoughts, how to get my feedback from my team members. Because I am, because of those persons, to report to the higher level. So this is answer to the how can we lead a diverse team. So now generally we are going to say is that when we have diverse team and we are going to manage, so now in case we have to embrace the diversity overall, generally, then what are the things that a person, individual should be in the team? So when we say, okay, I need to hire a diverse talent into my team, but am I ready to interact, respect the cultures that person is bringing to me? For example, if I'm saying, my team member, they don't know about from where I am. When I was showing my culture, I'm from Sindh, nobody knows about my Sindh. What is a way that I can tell them I'm this kind of a person? How we interact with each other, how we sit, what is our food? Because when the team members are going to know, they would be behaving in that way. They are going to treat us in that way. Second point is form employee resource group. So this is the way when the persons are there, diverse workforce is there, then this kind of a group is a platform that people can interact. They can have different sessions to interact. They can have some kind of communication, might be their kind of lunch and learn kind of things to interact, even because we have everywhere, we have remote jobs. If we are not working on site, but we are working remotely, but these kind of integrations also help to know each other. Mentorship program also great. I remember I was in one of the mentorship program. Then what you learn that even you have a senior member that is going to share the experience of them. Then it helps you, okay, if this is kind of a culture, then how I need to move further on, how I need to create my network, how I should ask questions to everybody, how I can be a part of some kind of other teams as well. So these are kind of helpful tools to embrace the diversity in case we are in the team or within organization. Professional development program, as we discussed, just like when we have external dimension of the personality, we are going to have benefit as a team or the individual when we are going to have certification, or might be any tool learning, or might be any kind of conference involvement. So these are kind of interaction with the outside of the world to help you to understand what's going on in the market, what other companies are doing, how the other employees are treated in other organization. So it's kind of to give the idea how the world is. It is kind of, I will take it just like when I go for traveling, this makes me to learn, because if I see my culture is totally different, where we wear scarf in our, just like we have a scarf. Sometimes the culture says, okay, you have to be careful about the food. Might be we have few things just like we cannot in few regions, we just sit with the females. So these are kind of, but when you move to out of your circle, out of the box, you know, okay, this is kind of, but remember your limitations. That helps you a lot to move on and just like embrace your personality. Similarly, there is interactive culture events. Those are on site that most of the companies, they have kind of events. They have international cultural event. Everybody's showing their culture, their food, their dances, their costume. So that helps you to understand and how they greet, how they just like how the settings of the dining table is. So different cultures have different things to treat with each other. So those also help as well. And the last one is, if you want, you can volunteer into with another organization that helps you to understand how to communicate. That improves your integration or communication skills, gives you confidence to understand, respect culture as well. I give example, just like when I got a scholarship of China. I didn't know, I was kind of a person that was just like a homely person. I never traveled alone. I was a person that my sisters were used to buy me stuff. That was a kind of a person I was till at my home. But when I got my scholarship, I was told, okay, you have to do everything by yourself. Now you are going to a country where the language is different, the food is different, you have to do by yourself. Even after 6 months, I was not allowed to come back to the country. My brother said, okay, you cannot come because you have to learn more to be independent. So then this is kind of a thing that we have to push ourselves to understand, know the cultures and how you feel in those environments. It helps you a lot to tackle the issues, to communicate with the teams. So in the end, I would say, try to be open with everybody. Try to discuss the component. Might be there a conflict, might be you get denial, might be rejections are there, might be you don't get a positive response, but try to communicate. That will help you to speak at least. That at least, and appreciate yourself, whatever you do. And again, respect everyone's opinion, whatever the culture, because everyone has its own perspective. Nothing is wrong. Everybody has its own perspective, but we need to understand that what is our target, respect, give the value to each person's opinion. It will help a lot to understand and sit together, and it will give you happiness when you are together. Show empathy. When somebody is talking to you, then show that, okay, if I would be at your place, I must be feeling the same. And if somebody is share something, explain, repeat the sentence, either you are understanding in the same way the person is saying. So it will give you to solve the problem very efficiently. The last one is enhance self-awareness. Before saying something, first you know yourself. Either are you capable enough, are you sufficient enough to help somebody? If you are sufficient, you will be happy enough to help somebody. If you are empty inside, you have something diversity inside yourself, you are not going to help somebody. You would be doing for a short term, it would be just kind of a task, but you're not understanding what the person is feeling like, the person is asking about. It's not about the task, it is about the communication. It is kind of a bond. So you need to keep all these things, and it will help your personality to respect, to understand, and go with the environment, whatever you have. Either it's a team, either it's a culture, either it's a company, either you are anywhere. It helps you, it molds your personality in a proper direction. So this is all from my side. And if you have any question, you're most welcome to have it.
Okay, thank you so much, Salachina. We do have a question. I think you answered it in your presentation because the person asked if they can withdraw it, but I think we should ask it anyways, and um, uh, just to make sure, right? So, how can one stay true to their work ethic in an environment that isn't necessarily inclusive, especially when one's candid opinion contradicts or counters the predominant culture?
Yes, that's a good question. That was I was telling, because when we think, okay, environment is not good, definitely there are multiple opportunities available. It's not about just like we don't have world open to get experience, but how about our personality? I would add something that's like, do I learn to adjust into that environment? If I am very good and I analyze myself, then definitely there are other options you can quit. But best ways to communicate, increase your network, try to communicate, because optimal solution is right way there, because without knowing the culture, you can quit. I gave the example that for me, there was one time when I moved for pursuing my PhD. That was very challenging time for me. But at that time, there was no way to come back because I was not getting the return ticket. So similarly, it happens that we need to know first, do we know how to interact? Because it is giving us a lesson to my personality. Until I am too much stressed out and I feel, no, I cannot work anymore, I cannot consent, you can switch it off. But my suggestion would be, until you feel just like you're learning something from that environment, stick to that organization. Try to communicate, build networks. Okay, you are not, nobody's under, but you have a task. But there are other ways you can volunteer with other organization to just work as well, relax yourself as